you're going to serve each other at a standard that's at another level. And if you show up in service and in love for your teammates for 6 months, you're going to turn out, if that's your purpose and that's your drive, those are the teams that end up winning.
And I'm in love with this good life. Can't give it up. Make it to the top. Keep climbing. I wanna live it up. The good life. I'm coming up. I'm coming up. The good life. Good life. Oh, good life. Good life. Good life.
Boom, coming in hot. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, the Casey family end of summer tour is close to wrapping up. We're still out. You're in a beautiful area of New Jersey right now, are you not?
Got a day off from MLB Network today, and I'm back up there tomorrow. But we drove up to Asbury Park. We're at the Asbury Park Ocean Club Resort. It's actually nice too. For one day.
Nice. Is a boss around there? Is a boss walking around that resort right now?
Dude, the Stone Pony's right here. Danny Clinch's, photographer to the stars. He's got a museum right down the street. Bruce Springsteen. We just walked on the boardwalk this morning. Bruce Springsteen has like a museum, artifacts in there and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Just a cool area, man. I had no idea Asbury Park was this nice, but you're right, because this is where Springsteen got started, right, with Stone Pony and
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, man, it's been an awesome morning. And after I'm done with you, I'm gonna go jump in the ocean, ride some waves, and see what happens.
Nice. There you go. A little salt water. Salt water is great for the skin. I love it. Hey, there is no salt water, I don't think, in Kansas City at the moment. However, they are in first place, dude. They have tied the Guardians, but more importantly and impactful, by beating the Guardians, they now control the tiebreaker against the Guardians. Let's just go, man. This Kansas City team was nowhere a couple of years ago, and now here we are.
Yeah, well, JJ Picola, the GM there, who, shout out to JJ, George Mason played him a lot when in the CAA, and also Matty Quattraro. Shout out to Matty Q, Old Dominion. Man, Matty and I went toe to toe our whole college career, bro. Like, we were the same age, 92 to 96. They had some great teams. We had some great teams. I think we were 14th in the country one year. They were like 17th. Legit. So Matty and I have known each other. And obviously, friend of the show, Matty Q, if you haven't listened to it, he was on a few months ago. And you talk about, believing in that team. Dude, I think one of the best managers in the game, came over from Tampa Bay. Feel like Tampa has always done things at a level that's a little different. Just the way they evaluate, the way the analytics department. So I know Matty's brought a lot of that over to the Royals, but they got a great team. They've been consistent all year. They've been around all year. You keep saying, oh, look at the Royals. Look at the Royals. They're 7 games above 500, 9 games above 500. Oh, now they're making a run, right? And you look back at the Guardians, they were the best team in baseball for a long time, best record. I want to say, though, in their last 80 games, I think they're like 39-41. They've just been around 500, which has really allowed the Royals to make that run, because I think the Royals have just been consistently good.
Mm-hmm.
Winning 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 5 and 5. Kind of that staying around, staying at 500, above 500, winning a lot, winning most series. Winning 2 out of 3 or splitting a series 2 out of 4. They got a superstar in Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt. Look at Bobby Witt Jr.'s numbers, dude. 340 plus 345. Over 1,000 OPS.
Any other year, he's the MVP.
Short. Yeah, any other year. MVP. Yeah, Judge and Soto aren't around. He's MVP any other year.
Yeah, I got another stat. I got other numbers for you. This kind of goes to what you're saying about the Guardians kind of like taking that fall. Dude, they have held the division lead since April 13th. And on a flip side, on June 25th, the Royals were 10 games out of first place. I'll just go to the last 10. Royals 7-3, Guardians 3-7. Now, here's where the tiebreaker comes. They're 7-2 against the Guardians this year. You talk about playing big in a big series. That means they play each other 4 more times down the stretch, which is very interesting. But however, they are going to have that tiebreaker because they won 7 out of 9 against Guardians. That's how you get back in it, dude. It's not even close.
Dude, it beat him head to head. You want to get back in a race, beat him head to head. That's a
Yeah.
huge swing right there. 7-2. That's not a 4-3, or that's not a whatever 5-4. That's 7-2. That's how you gain games. And I think one thing, Chinch, when you look at the Royals, that pitching is legit. Reagans and Singer and Lugo and Lorenzen. There's one other guy I'm forgetting, but they've really been good. They 5 legit pitchers in that rotation, and that's how you're going to win. I think their rotation right now is better than the Indians. The Guardians. The Guardians have been banged up most of the year. Obviously, Clase at the back end of the bullpen for the Guardians is the best in the business, man. He's given up 4 earned runs in 16 innings pitched, but you got to get to him. And I think when you look at Sal Perez, the year he's having, a couple big hits in this series to sweep the Guardians in Cleveland is a big statement. And one other guy I want to talk about, dude, is the guy hitting in the 4-hole, Vinnie Pasquantino.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's from Richmond, Virginia, brother, and I believe he played at ODU, Old Dominion, where Matty Q played. So there's some get Vinnie Pasquantino up here because he did great in the minors, but he had a nice year last year. But dude, this is one thing I want to look at where I feel like the analytics departments and all these guys get so caught up in their numbers, and they're like, they don't look at RBIs anymore because runs batted and go, that's just a team stat. BS. If you've never been in the batter's box with runners on base, with your adrenaline and your heartbeat a little bit higher, and learning how to control that and slow it down so that you can drive in runs. Driving in runs is an art. I can't stand that with guys that have never played the game, never been in the box, doing these analytic guys saying, RBI. Isn't the whole goal to score more runs than the other team does? And how many times I remember Jim Leland saying, hey, Case, the big question they asked me after every game is, hey, what happened tonight? If we lose, I say, we couldn't get the big hit. If I win, we say we got the big hit. And he looked back to that year when Miguel Cabrera and Trout, when Miggy won the Triple Crown, and everyone's like, Trout's numbers of this. No, the big number was runs batted in. He was the number 1 guy in baseball. And Leland said he should be the MVP because the reason is he's winning games for me every single night. He's driving in the runs. So when the reporters come and say, hey, what happened tonight, Skip? We got the big hit by Miggy. We got the big hit by Miggy. I look at Vinnie Pasquantino. Dude, it's August 28th, I believe. He's got 96 steaks, 96 ribbies. Kind of flies under the radar. He's a good hitter. He's only struck out, I believe, 70 times too. So he puts the ball in play a lot, which that's how you drive in 96 runs. I remember asking Ken Griffey Jr. one time, I go, Griff, how do you drive in 120 a year? He goes, Case, ground ball to second base with the guy on third. Just got to get him in here. You got to get him in somehow. I look at Vinnie Pasquantino and I go, 96 ribbies. You want to look at a reason. We talk about Bobby Witt Jr. We talk about Sal Perez and some of the other guys. But Vinnie Pasquantino sitting there in the middle of the lineup, being healthy every year, not punching out, putting the ball in play, driving in 96 runs. He's going to drive in well over 100 runs. He's a big piece that we don't talk about because I think some people still don't look at that RBI number as so valuable. As a guy that played, and all the other dudes out there that played, they want the guys that can drive in runs. Look at Aaron Judge he's driven in 120 runs. Soto, these guys, you need the run producers. Driving in runs is not that easy. And like I said, for a guy that had to learn to bring his heartbeat down, a guy that had to learn to have an incredible process every single time up at the plate, especially with guys on base, especially in big situations, especially in games that count down the stretch in August and September. I want to have a guy like Vinnie Pasquantino sitting there in the middle of the lineup, knowing that he's going to drive in the run when we need him to drive it in.
I love it. And I'm going to back it up with some like you said, non-sexy analytical numbers, but I think this translates to why he has 96 RBIs, Case. 545 plate appearances. He's only struck out 70 times, as you mentioned. His on-base percentage is only 313, but that's not a bad number for a guy who's driving in runs, because guess what? Leading the league with 13 sacrifices, right? And we haven't looked at this. I'll look it up tonight and bring it back tomorrow. I wonder how many times he's gotten a guy in from third base and made an out.
Right.
RBI, go 0 for 4 with 2 ribbies. and you win 4-3 in a game. That is not something that people really get paid for nowadays. But dude, I remember used to sitting there with you and like, oh my God, my favorite things was when like you and Jim Tomey would be talking about RBIs. And he had this mentality. You say it all the time about yourself. This mentality, like my getting a single does not matter here. This guy's on third base. I have to get him in any way I can. This guy's got 13 sacrifices this season.
Yeah, you have to get him in. Like, dude, get a pitch you can get in the air. Get something. That guy's got to come in with less than 2 outs. That guy's got to come in. And also, too, bro, it goes unnoticed when you look at the highlights. I'll be like RBI ground out by Vinnie Pasquantino to second. Yeah, he got him in. Like, that's not easy to just ground one to the right side. You got to get the pitch you want. You got to roll it over. Like, it's not just about getting hits. Get those guys in. But that's why you look at the Royals, they got a lot of winning players on that team. And Matty Q preaching winning baseball, next man up. You know, one other thing I want to say, Chinch, let's get into a little breakthrough pro stuff. Because this week we're talking about service. And this is the last week. And I love this week because I believe as a teammate and at spring training, when you're gathered around and that last day and you're about to break camp and you know you got 162 coming up and you gather around. And if I was a manager, my message would be, hey, look around the 26 guys around you. You're the guys we're breaking camp with. You're the guys that are going to give us a chance to win a World Series. You're the guys that are going to show up for a city for the next 6 months to bring those fans what they want, to bring the daughters and the sons and the fathers and the mothers and the aunts and uncles, grandparents, joy for the next 6 months. And how you're going to do it? You're going to love each other at a level that's a standard that's at another level. You're going to serve each other at a standard that's at another level. And if you show up in service and in love for your teammates for 6 months, you're going to turn out, if that's your purpose and that's your drive, those are the teams that end up winning. And the reason I say that is just like this. Hey, listen, Vinnie Pasquantino, you want to drive in 100 runs? Hey, Bobby Witt, thanks for stealing that base, man. Thanks for getting that good secondary lead, playing the game right, playing the game hard. Thanks for hitting the ball to the outfield and running in one of those outfielders' faces to get to second base to allow me to maybe drive you in. Hey, thanks for that ball in the gap instead of staying at 2 because you're busting it out of the box, getting the third so I can get that sack fly and get you in here to win a ball game. You know, hey, you know, up and down the list, like, hey, thanks for getting that guy over so I could get him in. Right? So many ways. Hey, thanks for diving for that ball in the hole at first base so you can make a flip play to the pitcher. When the pitcher, I can't tell you how many times pitchers would come up to me and go, Case, thanks for making that play. I know it's 8-1 in the ninth, but this means a lot to me and my family, like not to let that run score from third. Thanks for still playing the game. Thanks for showing up every play. Thanks for mentally being there because you love me. You said that the day before the season started. You said you were here to serve your teammates. You said you were not here just for yourself. You said you were here for the team to win a championship. And I think, man, when you look at the best teams, you're going to see that. You know, you hear the Yankees talk about it all the time. We got a bunch of great guys in here. You know, we're in this together. These guys love each other. You know, you look at the Kansas City Royals, that's the same kind of feel. All the good teams out there, if you watch their games, they're doing something for the next guy to say, hey, man, I got your back. I got your back. I know I might have got out there rolling this over, but that guy's the third, and we're going to get Vinnie Pasquantino 100 ribbies so he can get paid and we can win a championship. So, like, that mentality of service and love for each other has to be so huge in the game of sports. You want to play this game, it cannot be just for yourself. It can't be for just the name on the back. It's got to be both. You got to be the best version of yourself on the back so that on the front, where it says Royals, it says Yankees, it says Pirates, it says Guardians, it says Dodgers, right? That you know that if we want to really get to where we want to go, we got to be in service of each other. And that's what being a great teammate's all about.
I love that, dude. And it's not bullshit, right? Honestly, like that ninth inning, you know, you're down 8-1 and you had a crappy game and you've been kind of struggling when like one of your big time players goes out and hustles out a 2-out ground ball to keep the game going. That really does work with teams, right? That's not like a BS false hustle type thing. It's like, look how hard this guy's working for us. Let's come out tomorrow and work hard. right?
Dude,
It's not
dude,
BS. I think.
that's it. And you know, I think the most important prayer or saying you could say to yourself all day long is thank you for, you know, for the life that we have, but also as a teammate, hey man, thank you so much for running that ball out. Hey, thanks for caring. Because it's tough to care for 162. It's not an easy sport. This game will beat you down. You got to play this sport when you're at your lowest. You got to play this sport when it's toughest. You got to play the sport when you don't feel good. You got to drive in and run when you're struggling at the plate. You got to find a way to compete. Like, that's what people think, oh, I got to be 100%. You're never 100% in this game, especially mentally. This game will beat you down, punch you in the face nightly, night in and night out. You got to be able to play this game when you don't feel your best. You got to play this game when you're not 100%. You got to be able to play this game when you don't feel good and you haven't slept well. You're a little under the weather. You got a little tweak in the hammy. Your neck's a little pinched from the flight you just took to the West Coast. Like, this game is played when you're not feeling well. You want to be a great baseball player? You got to have the mentality. I'm here showing up every night for these guys because I love them and I'm serving them, and I don't feel 100%. Those are the guys that win in this game, Major League Baseball. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always go back to when we had CC Sabathia. It was one of my favorite things anybody's ever said on this thing. He said, first year with the Yankees, spring training, he's sitting there and they're like, hey, we're going to go out and run some polls, whatever. And he's like, I'm CC Sabathia. I don't run polls. And then he looks out there and it's Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera with the whole team. And he goes, well, guess I run polls now, because if those guys do it, I do it. It's all leading from the top, you know, pride.
That's the truth, man. Lead from the front, man. You're right, man. Lead from the front. Lead from the front.
Yeah. Now, and this kind of segues a little bit to like the other thing. You're with your team before the season. Everybody's, you know, you got a whole goal in mind, but there's always got to be a next man up mentality. And it's like when somebody goes down, you got to fight through it. The Mets have that. They lost their ace. Senga pitched one game, came out, looked like he was going to be fine, blew his leg out again. But they got a guy in Manaea, dude, who last night you couldn't have had a bigger endorsement of what he has done for that team than Brandon Nimmo, who's the leader of that team, saying, I have not seen anybody do this for us since Jacob Degrom was here. He's like, wow. We come out 1, 2, 3. It's back in a dugout. It's like we're barely even on a field when this guy pitches, and he deserves everything he's getting. And one super quick thing, he made a little adjustment. He's been watching Chris Sale pitch. He made a little arm angle adjustment, and they're saying that's not the full-on key, but interesting, man. You're always trying to learn and be better at your craft and look at the guys who do it right. He's doing that right now for that Mets team.
Dude, you kidding me? Where would they be without Manaea and Peterson? I mean, Manaea has been lights out, and that's been such a great pickup for them getting Sean Manaea. But, you know, I think it is. It's a game of adjustment. It's a game of adjustments here and there. I mean, small things here and there. And you know, to see if that is one of the keys that him dropping down or whatever it is, the way Sale does it, you know, Manaea has been so huge. And you talk about a huge win last night. The Mets are right there. The Braves are still winning, but man, the Mets are right on their heels, you know. And that's just going to be such a fun race to watch. Is that wild card race between the Braves and the Mets, you know? But the Mets are going to need Manaea, man. And for that endorsement to come from a guy like Brandon Nimmo, who's watched Jacob Degrom at his best and watched, you know, some of those guys at their best, that's a huge endorsement. If you're mentioning Degrom when he was on the Mets to Manaea, that's pretty impressive.
It is. It's very impressive. All right, great stuff, man. That ocean air gets Sean loose. I love when we get into the breakthrough pro stuff, man. That's what you're all about. And dude, hey, it translates. It works, right? Positivity, power of positivity. Is that what we're talking about?
It worked. Well, it works big time, dude. It works big time. And like I said, man, I was just telling my daughter that, you know, is at Fordham, you know, she's grinding a little bit, you know, with a little homesickness. And I said, hey, listen, Cara, if you can look at your day to day and just continue to say thank you for the fact that you're going to a good school, that you're in college, that you've met some good friends, you're going to get a great education. Like, there's so many things to be thankful for. And I think at times we miss that in life because, you know, our minds go to this certain place, that go to this maze of wherever it goes, this negative thinking. And at the end of the day, if we have the power. We're not powerless. We have the power to bring it back. So if you can get that power of thank you, it's pretty powerful stuff.
I love it. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for that. Okay,
You
I'm
got
gonna do one little tease here for tomorrow. We're talking about Joey Votto retiring. A lot of people are saying he's a Hall of Famer. Sean is going to bring up a guy who is not in the Hall of Fame tomorrow, who, if Votto gets in, this guy 1,000,000% needs to be in. Don't give it away yet, but you got your stats. We got the numbers. We're gonna do that.
Yes, it's gonna be a great conversation, and the stats of this guy and Votto, I mean, couldn't be any more similar. So I'm saying I think Joey Votto's a Hall of Famer. If he is, this guy's 100% got to get in.
Got to tune in tomorrow and got to like and subscribe to the mayor's office.
Please like and subscribe, big time, and call your relatives to like and subscribe. We need the numbers to keep going up. We appreciate it so that Chinch and I can stay on the air. Brother, I love you. Thanks for everybody out there listening. Hope you got something good out of this podcast today. Catch you guys tomorrow.